Questions and Answers for a World in Crisis, from the words of Sri Aurobindo and the Mother. Speech, Part 2. From the Mother. You must always do what you say, but it is not always wise to speak about everything you do. When you speak, you must always speak the truth, but sometimes it is better not to speak. When speaking of physical things, one should have a lively, pleasant, witty style. When speaking of vital things, the style should be eloquent. When speaking of mental things, the style should be clear, precise, exact. When speaking of psychic things, one must be inspired. If you want to keep this presence constantly in you, avoid carefully all vulgarity in speech, behavior, and acts. Do not mistake liberty for license and freedom for bad manners. The thoughts must be pure and the aspiration ardent. Be careful always to keep the living presence and protection around you when you speak to people, and speak as little as possible. Neither too many nor too few words, just what is needed. To gossip about what somebody is doing or not doing is wrong. To listen to such gossip is wrong. To verify if such gossip is true is wrong. To retaliate in words against a false gossip is wrong. The whole affair is a very bad way of wasting one's time and lowering one's consciousness. Unless this very nasty habit is eradicated from the atmosphere, never will the ashram reach its goal of divine life. Be on your guard against wrath in speech. Control your words, and leaving behind wrong ways of speaking, practice good conduct in speech. Never speak uselessly, and scrupulously avoid all malevolent speech. Mother's comment on the flower she named spiritual speech. Spiritual speech, all powerful in its simplicity. True strength and protection come from the divine presence in the heart. If you want to keep this presence constantly in you, avoid carefully all vulgarity in speech, behavior, and acts. For straightforwardness of speech also demands straightforwardness of actions. And a sincere man is one who shuns all falsehood in what he says, and all hypocrisy in what he does. It is always a sign of strength to be able to say things gently, and it is always weakness that bursts out into unpleasantness. Very often I have told you that every word spoken uselessly is dangerous chatter. But here, the situation has reached the very limit. There are things which have been said over and over again, repeated by all those who have tried to perfect humanity, unfortunately, without much result. It's a question of malicious gossip, of slander, of that pleasure taken in speaking ill of others. Anyone who indulges in this kind of incontinence debases his consciousness, and when to this incontinence is added the habit of vulgar quarreling, expressed in coarse language, then that amounts to suicide, spiritual suicide within oneself. I stress this point and insist that you take it very seriously. Neither too many words nor too few words, just what is needed. Speak less, act more. Talk little, be true, act sincerely. Message for the inauguration of Sri Aurobindo's action. To speak well is good. To act well is better. Never let your actions be below your words. On the path of truth, in order to know more, you must put into practice what you already know. A little bit of sincere practice is worth much more than a lot of written or spoken words. Anger has never made anyone say anything but stupidities. When in ignorance one speaks ill of others, he debases his consciousness and degrades his soul. Namaste.